good? We're good, okay. All right, go to the first slide. Thank you for attending this morning. We wanted to give you an update on the incident that occurred here last night in Waterbury. On February 13th, around 8:30 p.m., our Waterbury Police Department Auto Theft Task Force, along with detectives from the Vice Squad and Criminal Investigation Division, as well as our Violent Crimes Task Force, which we're partnered with the FBI and State Police on, we're investigating some attempted carjackings that happened in a number of locations through the city. Two separate incidents that happened in separate locations here in the city. Local law enforcement agencies in the region were working with us. We made several attempts to try to stop the cars. We identified the vehicle that was involved in the carjacking. We had good descriptions of the suspects that were involved in the carjacking, and we were aware that they were armed. Several regional departments assisted us in the efforts to try to apprehend them. We were unsuccessful. Later in the evening, somewhere around 10 p.m., the car was spotted back in Waterbury. Waterbury police were called to the west end of the city, to America Street, on a call involving this stolen vehicle that was early involved in the attempted carjackings. Two detectives were the first officers to arrive on America Street. They were able to identify a location where the suspects were attempting to flee from this area. It led them through some backyards onto Claremont Street. Once on Claremont Street, at number 16 Claremont Street, Detective R.J. Sackett of the Waterbury Police Department, assigned to the Vice and Intelligence Unit, came around the back of that particular building. When he came around the back of that particular building, he was fired upon by a suspect. The officer sustained an injury to his upper right thigh. Other officers arrived on scene immediately, rendered aid, and were able to get him to Waterbury Hospital in a very quick manner. And I'm very happy to report that he's doing quite well. So we're really grateful that his injuries were not worse than what he sustained, and our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family. As far as the investigation is concerned, 3 suspects were apprehended in this particular case. The first suspect is Sidney Reed. He was charged with crimes associated with those attempted carjackings earlier in the night. He is currently held on a $1.5 million bond, and he will be arraigned in Waterbury Superior Court later today. The second suspect is Alberto Rodriguez, again charged with a number of charges associated with those attempted carjackings. He is also held on a $1.5 million bond and will be arraigned in Waterbury Superior Court later today. The third suspect is the shooter in this particular case, Ariane Perez Feliciano. He is charged with assault, first degree, unlawful discharge of a firearm, 2 counts of robbery in the first degree, conspiracy to commit robbery in the first degree, criminal attempt at murder, assault on a police officer, interfering with a police officer, criminal use of a firearm, reckless endangerment, first degree, carrying a pistol without a permit, 2 counts, and possession of a high-capacity magazine and a handgun with obliterated serial numbers. Perez Feliciano is currently being held on a $2 million bond, and he again will be arraigned in Waterbury Superior Court later this afternoon. I'd like to turn it over now to the mayor for some comments.
Thank you, Chief. I would just like to commend the Waterbury Police Department on a terrific job of law enforcement last evening. They apprehended 3 very dangerous criminals, got them off the streets. These are 3 individuals who evidence very little regard for human life. We're happy that they're off the streets, and they should go away for a very, very long time. Our thoughts, of course, are with Detective R.J. Sackett and his family. Our thoughts and our prayers. I'm glad that he is going to recover. Hopefully he'll be released from the hospital soon, and that, as the chief said, his injuries weren't worse than they turned out to be. But this is a reminder of what a dangerous and important job the police do every day, and I want to commend our police department as a whole. Every one of them takes this risk every day when they put on that uniform and go out there to what they will tell you is just doing their job. But their job is to protect all of us here in Waterbury. Last night was a great example of the professionalism and the dedication of our police officers. And so I would ask that everyone keep our police officers in mind as well and say a prayer for them when you go home this evening, because they are doing a very dangerous job on behalf of all of us. But I want to commend them for the work that they did last night, and particularly for getting these 3 very dangerous people off of the streets.
Thank you, boss. So a little more information on this particular investigation. The Inspector General's office, as well as the Waterbury State's Attorney's office, is involved in this investigation. Officer Sackett was able to return fire at one point during the interaction with the suspect. There was no injuries to the suspect other than one of them who had some injuries from a police canine that took him down. That was not in the area of Claremont. That was further down on Wilson and Sunnyside a little later after the shooting took place. So there will be more information that will be released by the Inspector General's office. I've been in close contact with them. We anticipate a preliminary report and potentially some video early next week to be released by them. They will handle the use of force that was conducted by Detective Sackett. The Waterbury Police Department, in collaboration with the Waterbury State's Attorney's Office, will handle the arrest and the criminal prosecution and adjudication of the case.
Chief, do you mind spelling Sackett for us?
Yes, S-A-C-K-E-T-T.